This Elul, the Koilul, will concentrate on Mitzvahs Tekias Shofar, and in particular, in the Tzuras HaKoilas, which means how long the Koilas have to be, if you take a breath in between the Koilas. In today's Shiur, Akdama introduction Shiur will be to understand the amount of Koilas that we're mechuyev to hear, Mid'oraisa and Mid'Rabbanan. The Mitzvahs Tekias Shofar, Mid'Oraisa, is in the Torah, Parshas Pinchas. The pasuk says, Yom Trua Yilachem. Yom Trua Yilachem, these are mitzvah in the Torah, the mitzvah of Tekias Shofar, which the Torah calls it a Trua, Yom Trua. That a person should hear a sound of a Trua. The Gemara that we learned, and that wasn't to learn this week, the Gemara Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis in Rosh Hashanah, the Gemara says, with a drasha, these 3 times that it says Trua in the month of Tishrei, by Rosh Hashanah, by Yovel, but it says 3 times Trua, and with a hekesh of putting the Truas all by Rosh Hashanah, so that totals to be 3 Truas. So even though the Torah says Yom Trua, which would technically be 1 Trua, with the drasha, a person is mechuyev to hear 3 Truas on Rosh Hashanah. Then, there's another drasha. The Gemara continues on to say that each Trua should be sandwiched between a Tekiah before the Trua and a Tekiah afterwards. It says Havara v'havartem, the Lashon Havara, which means a straight coil before Trua. And then it says the Lashon Havara, a straight coil after Trua. So the Gemara says each time that you blow a Trua, you're supposed to have a Tekiah before. Havara is a straight Tekiah before, and a Tekiah afterwards. So, if we have, the Torah says we're supposed to blow 3 Truas on Rosh Hashanah, and the Torah says that each Trua should have a Tekiah before and a Tekiah afterwards, so that comes out to be 9 Koilas. So Mid'Oraisa, when the Torah says Yom Trua, there's a mitzvah of Tekias Shofar. What's the chi of the mitzvah Mid'Oraisa of blowing shofar? The mitzvah Mid'Oraisa is to blow 9 koilas. That's the machaber in Tafkov Tzaddik, the simon that we're learning, Hilchos Tekias Shofar. Kama Tekias chayv adam l'shmoi b'Rosh Hashanah teisha. Me'ikar adin Mid'Oraisa, a person is mechuyev to hear 9 koilas. L'fi shenema trua b'yovel b'Rosh Hashanah shalish pamim. It says 3 times trua. V'chol trua pshuta l'fanei pshuta l'achrei. You're supposed to have a pshuta tekiah before the trua and a pshuta tekiah after the trua. U'bepi hashmuel lamdu shekol trua shel chodesh tishrei echad u'makeshit. Even though not all the koilas are speaking dafka in Rosh Hashanah, but we have a hekesh to say that wherever you see anything else, even not on Rosh Hashanah, should also be done on Rosh Hashanah. Bein Rosh Hashanah, baby, have a kibbutz shel yovel teisha tekiyas toiken, which that is tarat, a tekiah trua, tekiah 3 times. So that's 9 koilas. So Mid'Oraisa, the Torah says to blow a shofar, the Torah says 9 koilas. So how does 9 become to more? You know, when we make the bracha Rosh Hashanah before Musaf, the tekiyas the Miyushav, we blow 30 koilas. Later in the afternoon, the tekiyas for ladies are 30 koilas. Those who go around in hospitals to blow, it's 30 koilas. Where does 30 koilas come from? So the Gemara says from Rabbi, that when the Torah says trua, we just explained very clearly that the Torah says blow 3 truas, and it should be sandwiched between a tekiah before and afterwards. But when the Torah says trua, what is the sound of a trua? Trua means a broken coil or a crying coil. What is the sound? Is the sound a longer cry, which we understand as a shvarim, broken up koilas, but longer broken up koilas? Or rather, is it a trua, our trua, which is, we know is 9, but it's smaller pieces, which that's a faster cry? Or maybe it's actually both. It's a longer cry and a short cry together. And since we're mesopek, we don't know when the Torah says trua, what does the Torah actually mean? Does the Torah mean shvarim? Does the Torah mean trua? Or does the Torah mean both? And since we don't know what the Torah means, to be yotzei the suffix deraisa, we have to blow everything. We have to blow trua, which is a shvarim. We have to blow trua, which is a trua. And we have to blow trua, which is a shvarim trua. And since, how we explained before, that any trua, what the Torah tells us, has to be sandwiched with a tekiah before and afterwards. So what comes out? You have to blow a set of tekiah, shvarim tekiah. Because maybe when the Torah says trua, the Torah means our shvarim. Or maybe the Torah means our trua. So you have to do a set of 3 of tarats, which means tekiah, trua, tekiah. A set of 3 of those. And maybe the Torah means shvarim trua, so therefore you have to do a set of those, which is tashrat. So how much does that equal? 9. Tashrat is 9. Then a 9 of tarat. And then shvarim trua, which is technically 12. It's a tekiah, shvarim trua, if we count those as 2 kailas. So instead of 9, that turns into 12. The set of tashrat, tekiah, shvarim, trua, tekiah, 3 times tashrat, so that's not 9, but that's 12 kailas. So you have 9 kailas of tashat, 9 kailas of tarat, and 9 kailas of tashrat. In other words, the 3 sets that we do, the 3 sets of 3, each one is 9, besides the tashrat is 12. So that's 30 kailas. So again, midei the Torah says, blow a tekiah, a crying sound in the middle, and then another tekiah. But we don't know what that in-between sound should be. And we have 3 options. So we have to do all of the 3 options, but 3 times, because the Torah says 3 times a trua. You can't just do 1 shvarim in the middle, and 1 trua, and 1 shvarim trua in the middle, because it's only one of them. And since it's only one of them, whatever one you do, you have to do 3 times. So you have to do 3 of each one.
It's a combination of tashrat and really that's considered one coil when the Torah said Shua meant a coil. A coil happens to be that it changes in the middle. But why should that be considered 30? It should be considered 27.
True. What Rav Shlomo Yosef is asking, that why is it 30, l'chayra it's 27? Because the shvarim trua, even though we understand that it's 2 koilas combined, but since that's obviously the definition of what the Torah says trua, and trua is 1 koil, the Torah says trua sandwiched by a tekiah before and afterwards, why is it not 27? So the answer is, it really is 27. It's not bedin 30. Some of the Rishonim actually call it 27 koilas. They don't call it 30 koilas. But it's called 30 koilas because for us, shvarim trua is 2 different koilas. Even though we're going to get to it later, it might really be 1 koil that you're supposed to do it together without any hefsek. True. It's taka, you could call it 27 koilas also, but we call it 30 because the shvarim and the trua is technically 2 different types of koilas, because we even do those separate as well. But that's the 30 koilas. Why don't we do the opposite? Why don't we blow, just like we blow a shvarim trua together, why don't we blow a trua shvarim together? Just the opposite. Instead of a tashrat, a tekiah, trua shvarim tekiah. So for that, we only blow how people cry. People that either cry quick or slow, that's either a shvarim or a trua. And then these people that start slow and then cry faster, which is a shvarim then a trua. But the opposite, trua shvarim, that's just not the derech. So therefore, there wasn't ever a tzad that you should blow it that way. So what we have so far is that the 30 koilas is not a chiyuv midrabanan. It's actually to accomplish the mitzvah midiraisa of mitzvah Tekias Shofar. That's why we blow 30 koilas. And that's actually how the Rambam learns. The Lashon HaRambam, Peru Gimel of Shofar Halacha Beis, Trua zu amura b'Torah. The Torah, like we said, says Trua. Nistapek lanu ba safek lefi oirach hashanim. We're mesupek. What is the Trua lefi oirach hashanim v'rei v'golius We don't know what the Torah means by trua. It seems like over the years, over the generations, it got lost exactly what the Torah means with trua. So to get it right, for sure, we have to blow all types of variations of koilas. And that's what equals to 30 koilas. And that's the Lashon HaShulchan Aruch. The next one, Siv Beis. Trua zu amur b'Torah nestapak lanu mihi lolo shanu koirim trua. Oyim hi ma shanu koirim shvarim. Oyim heim shneim yachad. We don't know which one it is. What's the sound that the Torah means? Trua. And therefore, we have to do 30 koilas. That's the Shitas HaRambam and the Shitas HaShulchan Aruch, which brings the Rambam. The Shitas of Hai Goyin, the Ran brings it. The Shitas HaChinuch, they learn that when the Torah says trua, trua means a sound of crying. And it doesn't make a difference how the sound will sound. Different countries, different medinas, their crying sounds differently, and however you blow, some places cry like a shvarim, and that's good, and some places that cry like a trua, you blow like that, it's also good. And even more, if you're in a place that the crying is like a shvarim, and you blow like a trua, you're yotza. The Torah says you should blow a sound that sounds like crying. As long as anywhere in the world that sound is a sound of crying, you yotze the mitzvah. So really, we have no suffix. When the Torah says blow a tekiah, trua, and tekiah, it's very clear that any sound of a trua means any sound, broken sound of crying, you yotze. Doesn't make a difference how it sounds. If that's so how do we get to 30 koilas? We should either blow 3 sets of tarat, or 3 sets of tashrat, or 3 sets of tashat. How do we get to 30 koilas? Explains the Rabbeinu Hai Goyed and the Chinuch that since we don't want it to look like these two Torahs, over here they blow this way, over there they blow a different way, even though technically it's the kiyum of what the Torah wants. But it doesn't look right. It looks like these different type people have the mitzvah differently. So Rabbi was masakin that in each place you should blow all the ways of crying, at least that there was at that time. You should do a tashrat, a tashat, and tarat. Do all the 3 different ways of crying, but not because we're mesupik what the Torah means, but rather do it so like this, everybody does what everyone does, and it doesn't look like you blow shvarim for a trua, and you blow a trua for a trua, and you blow a shvarim trua for a trua, so therefore we blow everything. The Beis Yosef is bothered on this pshat. The Lashon HaGemara is mistapkelei. Rabbi Vo is mesupik. Lefi this, there's no suffix. It's very crystal clear when the Torah says trua means crying, and it doesn't make a difference what type of crying, as long as he's crying. But that's the Shitas Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, that they were masakin to do now 30 to combine all the different ways that people blow. Now that they made that takana, if you blow 9 koilas, are you yotzeg? How did they make the takana now? They want you to blow all types of truas. But did they make the takana that if you don't do all types, you're not going to be yotzeh? That seems to be a machlokes rishonim, and that's what we're going to speak about a lot of nafkaminis lahalacha. The Ritva says that lefi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, they said, let's all blow all the types of truas, but even if you only blow one type, you're yotzeh. You're not mekayim Rabbi Vo's takana, but even if you blow 9 koilas, you are yotzeh, what the Torah says to blow mitzvahs Tekias Shofar midaraisa. The Chinuch seemingly says that now that Rabbi Vo is masakin to blow 30, if you don't blow 30, you weren't yotzeh. The nimtzel fizes anu tzrichem letkoya shalish pam shalish. It's not mafurish, but the Ritva says clearly that lefi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, if you blow 9 koilas, you're yotzeh. So we have over here machlokes rishonim when the Torah says trua and we blow 9 midaraisa. However, we end up with 30, whether if it's ba'as and shul or for a chayla, for ladies we blow 30. Why are we blowing 30? Are we blowing 30 because less than 30 we might not be yotzei a mitzvah midaraisa? Or are we blowing 30 for just to combine all the different minhagim, but technically you're yotzei midaraisa even with 9 kailas?
Does anybody see there's holy in machlokes Rambam and Rabbi going?
What I mean, this is the machlokes, the Rambam and Rabbeinu Hai Goyin. If a person is mechuyev to blow 30 kailas, almost midaraisa, which means if you're not going to blow 30 kailas, if you did Rambam, you're not yotzei because we don't know what you blew. We don't know if you did the trua. And Lafir Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, if you blew 9 kailas, you for sure could say you were yotzei the deraisa, right? Rabbeinu Hai Goyin says any way of crying, you're yotzei. So therefore, if a person blows 9 kailas, Lafir Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, he's covered. Lafi the Rambam, it's a suffix, so you have to blow 30 kailas to be able to say you blew and we makayim the mitzvah deraisa of Tekias Shofar. What's the nafkamina? There's a few nafkaminas ladina between this machlokes, 9 kailas or 30 kailas. Rabbeinu Hai Goyin says 9 kailas is enough, and the Rambam says 9 kailas is not enough because you're not even sure if you were makayim the deraisa. The Shulchan Aruch in Siman Tavkuf Tzaddik Gimel Sif Beis says, what happens if there's a person that he's in a place, there's no one else that could blow. He's the only one that could blow, and he doesn't know how to blow all the kailas. He could only do a trua. He doesn't know how to blow a shvarim. So what should he do? So the Shulchan Aruch says, he should blow just what he knows. If he knows tarats, so just do the sets of tarats. Blow whatever you know. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. It's a pretty partial and obvious thing. Blow whatever you could blow. So just blow tarat. Now, could the one make a bracha on just these kailas? Lafi the Rambam, you can't make a bracha because when you only blow 3 sets of tarat, you're not even sure if you makayim the mitzvah midiraisa. Why? Because it could be the sound that the Torah says true is not really true, it's really shvarim. We're not sure if you makayim the mitzvah midiraisa. But Lafi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, any sound of true is good, so when you blew tarat 3 times, you should be able to make a bracha. That should be a pretty clear nafkamina ladina. You may tell me that since after the takana of Rabbi Hai Goyin that you're supposed to, Rabbi Vo, Lafi Rabbi Hai Goyin, that they made that you should blow all the types, could be now they made that you're not yotzei without it, but pashtus, Lafi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, in Rabbi Vo, you should be able to make a bracha. The Mishnah Brura brings from the Mate Ephraim, and this is in Siman Tov Reish Sivkot and Zayin. It brings a case of a city, a town, that did not have a shofar over Rosh Hashanah. That year, Rosh Hashanah fell out to be on a Thursday and a Friday. It was Friday afternoon, and the shofar they still couldn't pull off to have a shofar. It was late Friday afternoon, and the town made an early Shabbos. They didn't have a shofar. They weren't makayim the mitzvah. So they moved on. Next, they made an early Shabbos. Then, after they made the early Shabbos, a shofar arrived. So if somebody wasn't makabel Shabbos yet and it knows how to blow, let him blow. But what happens, there was nobody, that's what the Mishnah respected, there was no one in the town that knew how to blow. Only people that were makabel Shabbos already, and on Shabbos you're not allowed to blow. So what should you do? They made already an early Shabbos, but you have the mitzvah of Tekias Shofar. Tekias Shofar is deraisa. The isser to blow is midirabanan. Now, obviously they were oiker it on Shabbos. So what do you do over here?
The fish, they cannot climb on the tree to get shofar at the same thing. No? It can't be over on the Rabbana to mekayim the rice.
You're right. But the Rabbanon will speak more ba'ariches why it's different. But here, the Rabbanon asked only on Shabbos the next day. The Rabbanon never asked on Friday.
It can't be over the Rabbana to mekayim the rice. air condition and that, it's, no, this is not. It's always going to be some difference.
You're saying once you were Makabel Shabbos already, so then you're no longer, what are you asking? So that's also a shmuz and tais for Shabbos, how much it is, what you could do.
Shvus you're allowed to do maybe having hashvashas, you know? So this is
That's what I meant, what the dinner of early Shabbos is, a bein hashmashas, or is it chamer, or could be these even a tzad, more chamer. But that's the din. Let's focus on the din just a second. You see, the din the din of Erev Shabbos, just a minute. The din of Erev Shabbos, once you makabel Shabbos, you're really not allowed to blow anymore. So what should you do? So the Mat Ephraim says, and the Mishnah brings the halacha, you should do the minimal amount of tkiyas. A tarat, tashat, and tashrat. Do the minimal amount. One set of tarat, one set of tashat, and one set of tashrat. Now I want to ask you all, L'fi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, we could understand why these blowing 9 koilas, or rather 10 koilas, is enough. Why? Because technically if you do a set of tarat, that's enough. Or you can even mix and match, because any type of crying is right. One tarat, one tashat, and one tashrat, so it's good, and the that's the minimal. But L'fi the Rambam, the Supik, what the Torah means, when the Torah says to blow a trua, we don't know what the trua is, so by just blowing one set of each, you are for sure not yoitza. Vadai not yoitza. Because it's either a trua, then you have to do 3 truas, or it's a shvarm and you have to do 3 shvarms, or it's a shvarm trua and you have to do 3 of those. One of each, one set of each, you're for sure not yoitza. So what's going on? What's the pshat in the Mishnah Brura that says that you just do one of each? So the Kaf HaChaim says, in Enochanami, when it says to blow one of each, it says to blow a tashat, tarat, and tashrat, it means 3 of each. Taka means 3 of each. If you the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch paskins like the Rambam, it taka means 3 of each. This same nafkamina comes up in a different halacha. The Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tavkuf Pei Vav, Sif Hey, Hamoidir Hana Mishoifer. If you moidir Hana from a shofar, so you're still allowed to listen to the key of that shofar, but the Mishnah Brura says a person himself shouldn't blow it, they should have somebody else blow from the shofar. Why shouldn't you blow from the shofar? Because even though mitzvahs lav lahanis nitnu, so when you're blowing the shofar, the mitzvah, you're not getting a hana, because the mitzvah is for hana, and it's lav lahanis nitnu. But some people enjoy blowing, and since they enjoy blowing the shofar, that part is not mutter. You are moider hana. You said, I'm not allowed to have any hana from the shofar. So if you're not allowed to have any hana, you personally shouldn't blow from the shofar because you're going to have hana. You should have somebody else blow, and you'll listen to the tkiyas. The listening of the tkiyas is mitzvah slav lahanis nitnu, and they'll be able to be yotzei the mitzvah. What happens if you don't have anybody else to blow for you? Again, brings the Mishnah Brura b'shas atchak. You should blow the minimal amount. Don't blow too many koilas because you're going to enjoy blowing. Blow the minimal amount. What's the minimal amount? Says the Mishnah Brura, you should only blow yut koilas. Over here already he spells it out. Yut koilas is maybe it's harder to say. It means 30, but the lashon is yut koilas, which is tashrat, tashat, and tarat. Here once again, the Kaf HaChaim says 30 koilas. So too in Scheiner Halachos from Rabbi Chaim Kanevsky, v'ulai tzarach loymar lamed koilas. The Mishnah spells it out, yut koilas, but again, L'fi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, we understand why 10 koilas is good, because any way of a trua, you yotzeh, so do 3 truas, however you like it, you yotzeh. But L'fi the Rambam, that it's a suffix, you should l'chayr need 30 koilas. So what's la halacha? We have a machlokes here. What's la halacha? We have a machlokes. Are you yotzeh with 30 or Are you yoytze with 10 or you need 30? The bir halacha on that din that we began in the nafkamina, that if a person doesn't know how to do all the different kailas, the Shulchan Aruch says just blow tarat 3 times. The bir halacha says umiyu, you can't make a bracha. Why can't you make a bracha? Why can't you make a bracha? Whether if we pascha like the Rambam or we even only choishish for the shitas Rambam, that you might not be yoytze just with a tarat, so therefore you have to make sure and blow all of them to know that you were yoytze the rice, and if you don't blow all of them, you can't make a bracha. So the Bir Halacha says, based on what the Shulchan Aruch paskins, that we're mesupik, like the Rambam, we're mesupik, and therefore we do 30 kailas. If you only blow 3 sets of tarat, 9 kailas, you can't make a bracha. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman asks on this Bir Halacha, and he says he doesn't understand why you shouldn't be able to make a bracha. Lamaisa, the Shittas Rabbeinu Hai Goyin is yoytze with 9. And even in the Rambam, if you only do tarat, there's a possibility that you're yoytze. The Siddur Yavitz, Rabbi Yaakov Emden, says that you can make a bracha on 9 kailas, which means like Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, that any type of trua, you yoytze what the Torah wants. So to be Mekayim, the mitzvahs shofar midoiraisa, says the Yavitz, if you blow 9 kailas, you can make a bracha. Reb Nissen Karelitz, Shlita, in his Sefer Chut Shani, speaks about it in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. Let's say a person's running around in a big hospital, there's many rooms. If you're going to blow 30 kailas in every room, you're not going to be able to cover all the rooms. But if you do a minimal 10 kailas, you'll be able to cover a lot more rooms, to cover all the rooms. What should you do? Should you blow 30 or should you blow 10? Which this is really what we're speaking about. Are you yoytze with 10 kailas, the deraisa? So he says also you should blow 10. Not only says you should blow 10, he says you can make a bracha. Like the Yavitz. The Bir Halacha says you can't make a bracha. Rabbi Yashiv also paskin in such a scenario a little bit different. He said if a person blows and blows for a lot of people, but he knows if he's going to blow 30 kailas for every person, he's going to run out of koiches. He's not going to have the strength anymore. He's not going to be able to cover everybody. So Rabbi Yashiv said just do 9 per person. Different rooms. Rabbi Yashiv didn't speak about a bracha, but he said to do 9. So what comes out over here is a big shaila, is a person yoytze with 9 kailas, the deraisa. Lafi Rav Hai going you're yoytze, and lafi the other shitas, the Rambam, you're not yoytze. It would be the same din as another nafkamina. And with this we're going to end. What happens if a person started blowing? He did Kiyas de Meyushev, he did the first set of tarats, and then he realized, oh there, I didn't make a bracha. So what do? Could you still make a bracha? So lafi the Rambam, lafi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, you for sure can't make a bracha because you already yoytze. Done. You were yoytze with 3 tarats. Lafi the Rambam, it's a suffix. So lamaisa lahalocha, either way you're not going to make a bracha because lafi Rabbi Hai Goyin, you for sure yoytze, and lafi the Rambam, maybe you were yoytze. And the same is really the opposite also. If let's say you spoke out. No, you're for sure not yoytze to say vada yoytze, but it could be when the Torah says trua, the trua means the tarat, the trua of our trua. It could be you were yoytze. It's a suffix. You have, like the Rambam, you have to do all 30 kailas to be able to say vadai, I did what the Torah wanted. But if you only do 9, it's still possible you were yoytze. It's possible. And the same is also the other way. If let's say you blew the tarats and then you spoke out, you were mafsik bedibur. Lafi Rabbeinu Hai Goyin, you were yoytze, you don't have to make over bracha, no question. Lafi the Rambam, it's a suffix, could be you weren't yoytze yet. Again, don't make a bracha. The Shulchan Aruch says in Tafkuf Tzadik Beis, and the Mishnah that your person shouldn't be mafsik between any tkiyas. We know the halacha, don't speak out, not between the first tkiyas, the second tkiyas. The Mishnah says that since we're not, you shouldn't even speak out between the tkiyas, even with saying yihiratzin. You know these yihiratzins between each set by the tkiyas to miyushev. Don't say the yihiratzin. Don't say the yihiratzin. Why shouldn't you say the yihiratzin? Because we're not sure if you were yoytze yet, if you were yoytze the mitzvah. but the Sharatziim brings from the Yavitz. This is a different Yavitz, but L'shitasa it's very good that the Yavitz says you could say the Ratzon. Why could you say the Ratzon between every set? Because Lafida Yavitz, how he paskins like Rabbeinu Haigoyin, that with 9 koilis you were yoytze already. So once you were yoytze with the first set of Tarat, or any set of 3, you already yoytze, so you could say the Ratzon. So just to be masakim, midei raisa, a person is mechuyev to hear 9 koilis, 3 truas and sandwiched by tkiyas. These are machlokes rishonim. If we know what the trua is or not, l'fi the Rambam, you could only accomplish the deraisa by 30, and according to Rabbeinu Haigoyin, you could accomplish the deraisa even with 9 koilis. And we saw nafkaminas ladina, what's literally the minimal amount that a person could blow to be yoytze, the deraisa of Tekias Shofar. Have a good Shabbos.